has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible. Hanging out the bad, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh, people dressed in plastic bags, direct from traffic, some kind of fashion shake-it-up should do. Along with the Tutty and Tater King himself, the founder of the LC podcast, rights holder, his sheet of integrity, the golf guru, Carver High this afternoon, ladies. Mafia is running it with Luke. I am your father. The rundown on a midweek Where Do You Hurt Wednesday, a double shot with Morency this very hour. And then, oh my God, they've already scored a goal like 5 seconds into this game. Literally, Inter is up early in Barcelona. In the second hour. The Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, live in Toronto. We get along with all of our friends on the network from Canada. I know that Canadians hate us, hate Americans, hate us, Carver High and myself individually as well. But we love them. We love all peoples and all nations. Also in the second hour, Alexis Zepp from the Daily Racing Form getting ready for the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. And then in the final hour, Stewie, a double shot with Keith Stewart from Read the Line, getting ready for more Texas golf. I mean, they go there a lot, don't they? What do you think of this Inter early, stunning goal at Barcelona on the road? And we are pulling for Inter here, Carver High.
Of course we're pulling for Inter because who wants to root for Barcelona? Absolutely no one. Yes, no one. Thuram right in, like you said, less than a minute into the game, and Inter Milan has a 1-0 lead over Barca at their place too. So there you go. Nice start. You'll be watching that. You're very involved with the Champions League here going on this afternoon. We have a lot actually going on this afternoon, believe it or not.
Ryan
There's a tons of afternoon baseball that we have. We have a few games that have already started. In fact, one is about to end. They're in the bottom of the ninth. First game of a doubleheader in Cincinnati. Of course, they were washed away last night. Mikolas was outstanding for the Cardinals this afternoon, pitching some shutout baseball, 6-0. Cardinals are in the bottom of the ninth looking to wrap this one up and preserve the shutout. But we'll see if the Reds can get a couple runs. The Tigers just got a grand slam from Javi Baez.
What?
And have opened up a 7-1 lead over the Astros, bottom of the third in Houston. So those are the two games going right now. I've got a couple that are starting in moments. 5 minutes from now at Coors, the Braves look to go for the sweep. And how about this, Scotty? The Braves win today. They will be back to 500. 15-15 if they can get the win after that horrific start to the season. They will have climbed themselves back into the mix. They will have Chris Sale on the mound this afternoon to try to do that. Chase Dollander will go for the Rockies. Some big lumber here, minus 285 for Atlanta, plus 230 for Colorado, and a 10.5.
Yeah, well, first of all, they're, in it, obviously. They're back. They'll be at 500 when they win today. And then they're 6.5 out. They're in third place, but they're 2 games behind the Phillies, and I'm not crowning anyone on the last day of April, okay? So I think the Braves, the fact that they're going to be back at 500 is really a crazy development. I think that, they're on their way. I think they're going to start playing normal Atlanta Brave baseball where they're just, winning all the time and getting involved and getting it done. We've never seen them start like that before in ages, like literally in ages. So what they're doing to me is not that surprising. I always kind of felt, we said that on this show, that at some point they're going to turn it around and they're going to get back to their normalcy. So here we go. And there's no way I'm betting on that Colorado team. They are awful. And last night, by the way, we hit that game twice. We hit the Braves to win, and we hit it under 11. It landed at 10. So the double dip last night, Carver High, with the Bravos.
Under both nights at Coors Field for those two teams. Can they get a third under this afternoon? I'm not so sure. If there's a guy that I think the Braves can maybe bust the stick out, it's this kid Dollander, who's of course a rookie, and he's given up a lot of taters so far this year.
Yeah, this one's going over, and they're gonna kill him. And not only that, I'll run line it. That's a horrible price though, minus $1.80.
Yeah,
and the minus 290 plus is just minus 290 at least to bet on the Braves. So I'd rather just bet the over 10 runs to begin with, but I still think that I think you're going to win your money if you still run line it. I do, because the Rockies hit a home run last night. You would have thought there was an earthquake there. Like you would have thought like something had happened, like newsworthy, because like they were doing local news that, hey, the Rockies scored a run. The Rockies are so bad that they make last year's White Sox look good. And so it was what? They got on the board. Next thing you know, it was 3-1. Then it was 5-1. Then it was 8-1. I mean, they kill him every night. They're going to kill him today.
Well, I'm just going to go with it with some long balls, of course, with Matt Olson and Austin Riley. And I have to put a small play on Albies because I played him last night and he didn't homer, which means he's going to homer today. The Marlins
Acuna's going to hit one. The whole team's going to hit one. Yeah, everyone.
Marlins are in Los Angeles against the Dodgers. Of course, the Dodgers smashed them last night out at Chavez Ravine. Our pal Cal Quantrill going against Tony Gonsolin, who's making his first start in a couple of years. Had Tommy John, missed all of last year. Then, of course, had some back problems earlier this year. So now, finally, Tony Gonsolin back on the mound. Minus 310 for the Dodgers, plus 250 for the Fish, and a 9.5.
I'll run line it, and the price is terrible, just like that last game. It's minus $1.75 to lay the run and a half. And I also like the over here because Cal, he gives up 8 runs a game. So I think that the Dodgers are going to pour it on, and I think Gonsolin will give up runs. He hasn't pitched in a year. So he's not going to come out and throw a no-hitter, is he? I don't think so. So no. I think you got runs in this game today, and especially in the sunshine at Chavez Ravine at Dodger Stadium, the ball's going to be flying.
Two others that start at the top of the next hour. Angels and Mariners are in Seattle tonight, out this afternoon. Emerson Hancock and Tyler Anderson, minus 145 for the M's, and an 8.5.
Seattle's been playing really well lately, and the Angels haven't. But I got to tell you, when Anderson pitches, he's their best pitcher. So I think that I'll take a shot today at that price. I can get it at $1.18 at least, right? With Anderson and the Angels today. Yeah. And I'll go, the backing is with Trout. Big stick. Mike, going to bring out the big stick today.
I needed him last night. And he let me down. And the Giants and the Padres. Padres beat them last night. They beat Webb. Today, Landon Raup and Michael King. Minus 155 for the Padres, plus 130 for the Giants, and a 6.5.
Your boy Rupert Murdoch pitching. Listen, and Michael, who would be king, he never loses. Give me Michael, who would be king, and the Friars again at Petco. They'll continue to rake W's at home in San Diego near SoCali Cal. Tijuana, do you wanna?
We got all the NBA, the Stanley Cup playoffs, Golf Wednesday. Very busy. Very busy today.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
how to show love to our everyday heroes. So if you're a first responder, you are in for some perks. Lots of hotels and casino offer big discounts to any first responders who can show valid work or volunteer ID. So treat yourself to a discounted stay. You deserve it. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Second game of doubleheader. We don't know exactly who's going to be in the lineup, and maybe you get an extended game number 1, which means tired bullpens and closers used up, which aren't available for game number 2, and maybe finding some extra shots here. But I do think the pitching matchup more susceptible, Tom, to runs here.
This is part of what we look at. Like I said, I don't expect both teams to win. So we have a pitcher who may not be sustainable at 28.6, but he's playing well right now.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, do you get rid of Booker? Because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You can catch Sports Rage every night at 10 East along all of our TV and radio outlets, and you get a double shot with Morency every day here on Coast to Coast from Vancouver. So, great bet by you last night on the Ottawa Senators. Great call on your part. That game, to me, is stunning. Not that you got the bet right. I thought that was a great bet. It was that they couldn't score a goal on their home ice. In a closeout game again, they have another abortion. I mean, this is unbelievable, this team. And they were up 3, and now are they in trouble? And then Edmonton kicked LA's ass last night. Any way you slice it, they go ahead. They get an empty netter. They win 3-1. They're up 3-2. They're going home to the Rogers to finish off the LA Kings for the 4th straight year. That's what's going to happen.
Well, we'll start off with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Ottawa Senators. And I swear, if the Toronto Maple Leaf players won the Powerball lottery, Scott, they would lose the ticket on the way to cashing the check. They're allergic to success for whatever reason, right? Like this has been a problem for them for years. And all you need to know about this, how about this, guys? The Toronto Maple Leafs in potential series clinching games since 2018, 1-13. 1-13. They played 14 games where they had an opportunity to close out a series since 2018.
They don't do it.
They've won once, 1-13. They've been outscored 48-23. This is what's pretty crazy too. In series clinching games, the Toronto Maple Leafs are on an 0-30 power play run. Right, their top players seem to disappear in these spots. But with that being stated, Scott, they're still up 3-2 right now. And I saw this coming last night. You know, the Toronto fans, that building isn't the best spot for that. They expect the worst. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The other team scores early. It goes silent in the building. And next thing you know, they're playing from behind and they tighten up. I called it last night. I said before the series started, I like the Leafs at 6. I think it sets up well. I'll tell you right now, guys, if the Leafs lose in Ottawa, they're going to lose Game 7. Like, they won't win Game 7 at home, right? They need to win this game. Like, the Leafs are under way more pressure at home. They have so many fans, too. Plus, it's in the same province. It's in Ottawa. So it's kind of like 50-50 in Ottawa, actually. And the Leaf fans that travel are kind of like the real.
How far is it to get there?
It's about 4 hours, 4.5 hours
That's
type thing.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's not as close as people think.
How's your cousin? I haven't seen him in years.
Yeah.
4 hours away.
People think
That's
like Montreal and Toronto. Montreal and Toronto is like a 6-hour drive, bro. Like,
Well, I
you know
know
what I mean? Canada,
that. That's in Quebec.
yeah, the cities are spread out. Like, you know what I mean? It ain't like, oh, yeah, it's an hour and a half with Baltimore and, you know, Washington, whatever. Like,
But if you took
the
a plane,
cities are
is it
spread out.
like an hour flight in a plane?
Yeah, I don't know, like 38 minutes, 40 minutes or something. But you got to go
Right.
through like you got to still go to the airport. It's like when I went to Seattle, Scott. The flight was literally like 37 minutes, but it took me like 2.5 hours going to
4
the airport,
hours.
getting out of the airport. You know, the flight. Like they literally said, listen, this flight's so fast, we don't have in-flight service because, you know, we're going to be there too quickly. But I think the Leafs will be fine on the road, and they better be because it's soul-searching time right now. And I'll just throw you a little nugget, Scott, as a Penguin fan. And I know, you know, we were talking about Sullivan and what's going on there, and I think it was more of a mutual type of deal there where, all right, you know, where are we going? I think Dubas wants a different look. But Rick Tocchet stepped aside yesterday in Vancouver.
I know. I said this on the air, and they all said I'm crazy.
Yeah, and everybody sort of assumed, oh, Tocchet's going to go to Philadelphia. Rick Tocchet, Scott, one of the things in Vancouver was Rick Tocchet doesn't like young players. Philadelphia's loaded with young players. We just saw Tortorella, like, bang his head against the wall dealing with these kids. I don't think Tocchet is best fit. I know everybody, Philadelphia. I think Pittsburgh is suddenly in play here. And, you know, we were talking about Kyle Dubas. This guy's got to do something eventually, Scott, positive, right? I mean, is he done like, wow, all right, we signed. Whoa, what a move. All right, we signed this guy. I'm just saying right now, if the Leafs implode here, there's a lot of stuff in play. The Leafs tried to trade for Rantanen, all right? They tried to trade for him. They tried to trade Mitch Marner at the trade deadline.
Right.
Mitch Marner knows this. Mitch Marner's a free agent, Scott. Like, he'll feel no loyalty to the Leafs now, knowing that they were the ones that cheated on him first, so to speak, right? Like, he won't feel like, I don't want to leave. Right. You know, I've been here. No, they tried to trade me. Kyle Dubas and Mitch Marner are tight. All right? And I'm just saying, there's already talk about this right now. $14 million a year, max contract. Mitch Marner goes to Pittsburgh. He played with Crosby on the Team Canada team in the Four Nations. Crosby would love it. Hey, we got a young superstar here. It's something. Talk it. I'm just throwing it out there. And you got to love this, Scott, in Vancouver. People now want Tampa to lose so they can hire John Cooper if they fire John Cooper in Tampa. Tampa, there's no way in hell. The crack isn't good enough. I know they're on bath salts in Florida. I know you guys like to do some hardcore drugs there, but
Spice.
Come on, John. Yeah, yeah, all the stuff they do. John Cooper's probably the best coach in the National Hockey League, man.
Yeah. So what did you think of the Oilers?
Wow. This is more of an indictment. Very similar, guys, to the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is an indictment on the Los Angeles Kings, Scott, and I did my homework. I've come prepared. Since Game 4, the third period of this series, the Oilers have outscored the Kings 6-1. They've outshot them 79-34. Shot attempts 141-82. Hits 69-58. They've just dialed it up. They're playing championship caliber hockey suddenly. We saw this last year, Scott, when they came back from 3-0 down to tie the Stanley Cup Finals.
Right.
They're not home yet, though. And I tell you what, I think the LA Kings have a win in them, Scott. I might be naive on this, but give me the LA Kings in the next game. I think this series is going 7.
So I still like the Oilers. I took them from the jump. I think they're Stanley Cup final material still. I've been hearing about how bad they are with their goalie for years now as they keep going on these great playoff runs, and they kick the Kings' ass like nobody's business. They'll finish them off. It'll be 4 straight years that they finish them off, and what'll be interesting to see is Denny Bernstein said they're not going to fire Hiller. I still don't believe that either.
career season for Elly De La Cruz. It happened last year. One of the most popular players in baseball as well. And a lot of guys are stealing bases again, and some of them seem like they may be able to steal more bases than Elly De La Cruz on the Cincinnati Reds. So I will ask you this question, Tom. Buy or sell, De La Cruz will lead the league in steals this season?
Sell. I sell on this. I'm not going to say it's already because he's just a handful behind, but there's another Cruz that could easily lead the league in steals, and that's O'Neal Cruz. But like you said, there are a lot of players stealing. Pete Crow Armstrong, I think, is always a viable option. Victor Scott, we know it can be very good. I think that's where we'll see things end up. The fact that he did so last year and he was the odds-on favorite to lead the league in steals this year, I just don't see it repeating. And frankly, there's going to be a point where maybe the Reds need to protect him. Like, they need him to be healthy. You don't want him potentially risk himself on any further injury if they're going to make a push for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll catch fire. I'm going to buy this. And the Reds went for about a week and a half without basically scoring a run. I do think as the weather heats up, he will get on base more. It has been, as I've said, a wintry April in a lot of different locations. And I can't quite figure out why the Reds, especially at home, are not hitting like they have in the past. And I'm just going to put it down as weather and nothing else. So I'm going to say De La Cruz at the end of the year does it. The competition, and Tom brought up a great point. O'Neal Cruz certainly off to a great start too, but I'm going to end up buying this, and I think 85 steals again for Elly De La Cruz, somewhere along those lines. Yeah, why not?
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Only on SportsGrid.
I only quit because I had to. I'll never forget when the doctor told me that after my heart surgery, when he opened up my chest and said I had coal miner lungs. It wasn't the news I was hoping to hear. Anyway, getting back.
But you're still standing.
Yeah, I feel great. Anyway, I want to talk to you first of all. I want to get to these 3 games tonight, but I want to get your opinion on a couple of things. Inter just scored on a bicycle kick. They're up 2-0 on Barcelona in Barcelona, and their fans are literally having sex with one another when they scored the goal. That was the most beautiful goal you've ever seen in your life on a bicycle kick. And then tonight, you're going to see the Whitecaps on the road, right, at Miami, aggregate up 2-0 on Miami in that tournament that you went to in BC Place with 54,000 fans. Now they're in South Florida, right? Is that about right?
Yeah, tonight is it. There's a spot to the championship on the line here. And as we stated, only one MLS team has ever won this thing in 16 attempts. This is the 16th tournament, or 17th. It's 15-1. Seattle Sounders won once. So big-time stuff. Whitecaps up 2-0. Always tricky, as you know, Scott, betting on these aggregate games and, what are they going to do? And they need this and that. But road goals count. Like, they don't go to penalty kicks right away. If the game is tied, it comes down to road goals. And, we got another goal here, Scott. Goal!
What?
Barcelona just got on the board. Wow, 3 goals in 24 minutes.
I got to watch it. It's going to happen right here. I'm behind you. I don't know. The Canadians have taken advantage of us Americans lately. It's unbelievable. His TV's so far ahead of mine. It's obviously Trump's fault. And the new liberal PM in Canada is the one that gets these goals.
High-powered internet. He promised high-powered speed.
That's a wicked shot to the left corner from the right side of the box. A wicked kick.
It drives people crazy on Sports Rage at nighttime. And I don't like ruining games for people or anything like that, but
I do.
I'm literally like ahead, like you just saw, I'm ahead of the goal right now. So I'm like, oh my God, they scored. And like a minute later, Cam will see the goal or Kurtz will see it like 45 seconds later. And I got to sit there.
The old blue liner.
You gotta wait a second. But wow, man, 3 goals in this match. And it's only 24 minutes in, guys. It's only 24 minutes in. Barcelona right now are plus 175 on the money line to come back.
Yeah. And I just want to say the guy that scored the goal, that is clearly the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz with that hairdo. That is clearly look at that. That is the greatest hairdo I've ever seen. He clearly does not have blonde hair, but he looks like the straw man, your boy from The Wizard of Oz. So anyway, let's get to tonight's 3 games. So obviously, Washington at the Capital One can finish off Montreal. Florida can win the series at Amalie in Tampa in the Gulf Coast, and it's 2-2. St. Louis is at Ferrellapag.
Montreal or Washington, I think, is a toss-up. I'm going to, I like the Canadians plus 1.5, but the empty netters are always dangerous, and we saw Martin St. Louis pull the goalie with like 3.5 minutes left, which is a killer if you're an underdog better, and you got the puck line. My gut, it's sort of similar to Detroit and New York last night. Like, I thought Detroit would hang around, ended up losing the game to the Knicks. The Canadians are in every game here with Washington, but Washington just sort of Washington scores the last goal, like, for the most part every time. It's like, yeah, it's tied, but you lost. We just won. And so I wouldn't be shocked if the Canadians, so I'll die on the hill with the Habs tonight at plus 165. I think Tampa will win this game tonight. Even though Florida pushing them around a little bit, I think Tampa have a win left in them here tonight at minus 115. And we talk about the struggles of these teams, Scott, the Leafs, the LA Kings, where history repeats itself in the playoffs. Connor Hellebuck, right? 1-8 in his last 9 road playoff starts. Well, this isn't on the road. This is in Winnipeg tonight. So I'm expecting Hellebuck to play well. I'm expecting the Jets to play well tonight. The sports books agree. It's minus 185, but give me the Jets, Lightning, and Canadians tonight.
Jets, Lightning, and Canadians tonight. And then do you think Vancouver wins it with aggregate? Do they win? Do they tie? What are you betting on there?
I think the best bet in this game, guys, because it's all complicated. I'll post on X how I'm handling it, but I think the over 2.5. Let's just get right after it here. They're down 2-0, Miami. Miami are good offensively. They're much better at home. They're not going to get shut out again. It's minus 175, but we love the over 2.5. And also Vancouver, if they score 1 road goal, Miami needs to score 4 goals to beat them. Go over 2.5.
All right, great job, Morency.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
That was the magic of Tiger to me. Why did my mom care about when Tiger was playing? Because you might see something with every shot that you've never seen before. And that was, to me, the magnetic quality. And those guys have a little bit of that, but there aren't a ton of them. So to have those guys in the mix on the big weeks, it's great for the game.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
playoff games last night, Mike. It was crazy, and I thought that Pacers comeback in the last minute of overtime was unbelievable that the Bucks blew that. I mean, didn't they have them by like 10? And they blew it. I think they beat them with an 8-0 run.
I believe when I was looking at it last night on the radio show, it ended up being they had a 7-point lead with 42 or 43 seconds left in the game, and both turnovers were by Gary Trent Jr. He had 2 turnovers towards the end of that game. Now, I mean, look, the guy had 33 and hit 8 threes. You probably weren't expecting that, but
did you see the pass he dropped out of bounds, like right between his legs? Like it was like, it was the most unbelievable. It was almost like it was fixed. I was like, that didn't just happen. Did that guy just do that on purpose? When I was watching it, that's what I thought. I'm like, how did that happen?
It definitely had a little bit of that feel to it. There's no doubt. Halliburton was obviously the story, both, I guess you could say, before and after the game, right. At least a member of his family. He tied the game in regulation to get them to overtime, and then he hit a big 3 late in the overtime, and then here it is, down 1, chance to win, NBA TV.
Here we go! Halliburton, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, Halliburton for the lead! 1.3 to go! Pacers by 1! Porter to inbound it, no. Giannis is going to take it now. Here's Gary Trent Jr. Lets it fly! And the Pacers are moving on!
It was unbelievable. And, people saying that this guy Halliburton's overrated is insane. I mean, he's just, all he does is win playoff games. He's like 8-0 in home playoff games the last 2 years. Like, all he does is win. That's it.
And what sucks about it is, and we're going to get to it in a moment, let me just get through Carlisle first. Like, he had such a huge moment for him, right? Like, he won him that game. Like, it was an unbelievable thing, and the attention, of course, all ends up being about something else afterwards. After what should be a huge moment for him, after all the overrated stuff, and that gets taken away. Quickly, let me just finish the game itself with Carlisle. Of course, the Pacers were down 20 in the first half of this game to the Bucks, and they came all the way back. Tell us, Coach, what'd you say to him?
Coach, when your team was down 33-13, what was your message to them to try to get them back on track?
Hit somebody. I mean, really, that's what it was. Apologies to the league, and I'll take that back.
Don't take it back. That's what we do around here. We knock you out. Get you down, right. You got to fight a little bit. Hit somebody.
Honestly, I always say, if you're going to get your ass beat, you might as well play dirty.
Now let's talk about, actually, I guess, nobody really hit anybody in this altercation, but, of course, afterwards, the buzzer sounds, the Bucks lose, Giannis is on the floor, and Tyrese Halliburton's dad, who I guess does this often, I guess when the game ends, he comes out on the floor and waves his towel around or whatever he does. I guess he got right in front of Giannis and started waving the towel and saying some unchoice things to him, which then caused Giannis to kind of get in his face and kind of lean his head up against his. Let's hear from Halliburton first, because I thought he also, Scotty, Giannis was great, which we'll hear in a moment. I thought Halliburton handled it well, too, saying, enough with my dad. Can you please just, what you did was absolutely wrong.
I think it's the emotions of the game just got excited there. But I talked with him. I'll talk with Giannis eventually about it. Just, I don't think that my pops was in the right at all there. And unfortunate, what happened in the end there. But, I mean, this series was a lot of war of words, a lot of war of antics, a lot of stuff going back and forth. And that's just part of, this rivalry and what we've built here over the last couple of years. And, it's unfortunate what happened there, but I think it's just competition. And as far as my pops, again, I don't agree what happened there. We'll have a conversation. Everybody's grown men, and, we'll just go from there.
Listen, I think his dad is a male organ of the month club. Let's just get him a membership right now and a locker and a parking spot in the male organ of the month club. He goes out there. First of all, he's all of about 5 foot tall. and he's waving his flag and dropping F-bombs and saying this is what we effing do. And then, getting in the face of a guy that's that enormous and that it would beat his ass in like 5 seconds. And then also a guy that's, won MVPs and championships. The guy won a title. So I thought the way that Giannis handled it, in the moment, I think when he talked to him in his face, he was like, it's very disrespectful. You're out of your mind. You're out of your league. You shouldn't be doing this. I think that was all he was saying to him. I thought the thing that was the most embarrassing for me was watching TNT and listening to Shaquille O'Neal try to side with the father. And like, how stupid are you, dude? Like, because I think he's a really smart guy and that he's marketed himself terrifically. He does millions of commercials. He's the face of everything, pizza commercials and all the rest. He does the Icy Hot, the Papa John. He does what doesn't he do? He does everything. He's everywhere. He's making hundreds of millions of dollars. Great. But him trying to defend that father last night, that Giannis was saying things to him and that he does this all the time and gets in players' faces, it's still unacceptable. I think it makes him look like an absolute tool of a father. And I think that it makes his son look like a tool as well. He's embarrassing his son and I think trashing his son's name while he's doing it. But I still thought the way Giannis told the story afterwards was perfect. I thought the way he handled it was perfect. I thought it was classy.
And that's really, Giannis the past couple of years, he's really developed into a guy who you really like to listen to what he has to say because he says a lot of things the right way. Here is Giannis after what happened last night.
One thing I'll say is that I believe like being humble in victory. That's how I am. Now there can be a lot of people out there that are like, no, when you win the game, you gotta talk and it's a green light for you to be disrespectful towards somebody else. I disagree. Having somebody's dad, which I'm happy for him and I'm happy for his son and I'm happy that he's happy for his son. That's how you're supposed to feel. But coming to me and disrespecting me and cursing at me, I think is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Okay? And
he's right.
I'm not the guy that points fingers because in my neighborhood, snitches get stitches. So I don't want to say something, for him to say to get fined or anything. But it's not respectful. I talked with him at the end, and I think we're in a good place.
Yeah, listen, the father's an idiot. Shaq's an idiot. Like, I thought it was funny watching fat Chuck Barkley and the Jet, Kenny Smith, calling Shaquille an idiot. I thought was awesome. Barca scored to tie the game at 2. This game is wild in Barcelona, by the way. They were down 2-0, and now it's 2-2. So, hello, that game's getting crazy. I think Halliburton's dad's a joke. Like, go have a sandwich. Stop bringing him to the games. Like, what is this guy? He thinks he's on the team? He's like this guy Smith, who walks into arenas, thinks he's playing on teams. He thinks he's on teams. He walks in like he's walking into the arena like he thinks he's a player and that people want to watch him walk into the tunnel and into the seats. And you have to be a narcissist. What is wrong with you, bro? I've never done that in my life ever at a game, acting like I mattered or I was somebody special. Seriously. And that dad walking on the court after a games and getting in players' faces, someone's going to knock his teeth out of his mouth. Someone's going to bash his head in. That's what he has coming. Where I come from, you get your ass beat.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
That was the magic of Tiger to me. Why did my mom care about when Tiger was playing? Because you might see something with every shot that you've never seen before. And that was, to me, the magnetic quality. And those guys have a little bit of that, but there aren't a ton of them. So to have those guys in the mix on the big weeks is great for the game.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this guy. He's standing 2 seconds after the game. He's on the free throw line, and he was looking up at this guy. It was like looking at a 2-year-old talking to a grown man. He's up to his kneecaps, and he's trying to act tough with Giannis Antetokounmpo. You got to be kidding me. And what did you think of it, obviously, Carver High, because you said it best.
Well, that was the thing that stuck out the most to me. Obviously, the guy's just a total pain in the ass, and he shouldn't be doing that to begin with. But from my aspect, how is he on the floor, that far on the floor, 2.5 seconds after the game ends? This wasn't 5 minutes after the game. The Giannis inbounded the ball. Trent threw the ball up. The horn went. Giannis is standing there in the paint after inbounding the ball, and this guy's on the free throw line.
It could have been a guy with a knife. Honestly.
That's what I mean. Where's the security? And I'm sure the entire security force that works the floor at the field house where the Pacers play knows who the old man is, and they know no one should be on the floor that close after a game ends. If your family's there and you want to bring your family on the floor 5, 10, 15 minutes after all the other players and coaches have dispersed to the locker room, fine. Bring your family on the floor. Running on the floor, you could make it if any random person went and did that. He'd get tackled and clubbed. The guy ran on the floor and started waving his towel around. What is that about? So the whole thing was ridiculous.
I said it.
The entire thing.
If it were look, if that were Dylan Brooks, that guy would have had his teeth knocked out of his mouth. If that were Isaiah Stewart, he would have beat the shack out of him right on the spot. And I'll tell you what, Giannis is a really great guy, nice guy, but he would have killed him too. You have to understand, stay in your lane, bruh. You're tripping.
Yeah.
And you know what? I would be so humiliated if I did that. And my son had to deal with that. That I embarrassed him like that. It would just suck forever. I'd be like, bruh, you can't come to the games anymore. You're embarrassing me. And then I'd have to call the mother. Listen, can you tie this guy down on game nights? Can we get some handcuffs? Yeah, honestly, because this guy's a tool.
It's just awful. But the Pacers will move on. We'll talk about that in a little bit as they're going to play Cleveland now in the next round. Let me just finish Milwaukee with you because obviously they're done. And Giannis is done. 3 consecutive seasons they've lost in the first round. They won the title in 21, and they've had problems in the playoffs ever since.
They lost in the conference semis the year after they won the title. Then they lost 3 straight first-rounders.
3 straight first rounds. So, of course, the talk is going to be, does Giannis want to find a new home and leave Milwaukee? He wasn't quite ready to answer that last night, but he looked like a guy who would at least consider it.
Giannis, you've always kind of stated about wanting to win and win championships and win a second championship and how important it is to you. Do you think that you can still win that second championship here in Milwaukee after a third straight first-round exit?
Look, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I know how this is going to go. Whatever I say, I know how it's going to translate. I don't know, man. I wish I was still playing. I wish I was still like competing and going back to Milwaukee. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Like, he just wants to win, and he's not winning there anymore. And I saw a picture today of him in like 10 different uniforms. Like, this guy, they are lining him up for an exit from Milwaukee like nobody's business. This guy, every team in the league wants him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because he's a different kind of cat than some of these other guys around the league. Like, I think he does feel a very large sense of loyalty to the Milwaukee Bucks, to the Milwaukee community, to the city of. I really do think he does, but at the end of the day, they gave up a lot to try to reshuffle the deck after they won the title and bring in Dame time. Like, they got no future. I mean, they don't have a first round pick for like the next 6 years. They've got they have got nothing coming down the pike. So I think he's gonna have to really consider it if he wants to win another title, or he could spend the rest of his career in Milwaukee, play there his whole career, win the one title, and maybe he'll be and look, he'll be known as one of the greatest players. Plenty of guys haven't won it all and have gotten that esteem. He has at least won already there. No one could say he's never won a title. But I think he's going to try to go somewhere else. I think he's got it.
We've already heard, we're here in New York City. We've heard the Nets want him worse than they want to have a franchise. Yes. I think the Miami Heat want him in South Beach desperately. Listen, I am telling you, don't get that guy near Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry in Golden State, because they'll win it. They'll win it all. You get those three together, that'll be it. And that's not a super team. That's just a title team. That's what they'll be. You get that guy playing with them and everything else that they have in that Kerr, forget about it. You think they won with Durant? Wait till you see him win with that guy. Honestly. It was so easy to win with Durant. That'll be the same thing with this guy. They'll win the title. They'll win 2 and 3 in a row. Trust me.
It would not stun me if that were the case. That's for sure.
And that owner's crazy too. Lacob, he'll do it. He'll pay him.
There's
you know
no
how
doubt
much
about
money
that.
they make? They're the #1 team in the league.
Yeah.
They make more money than anybody. And they got that new Shangri-La arena that they're playing in. You could talk about every other arena, Intuit or otherwise. The difference is that they play for titles and the Clippers don't.
Precisely. We will come back and we will start to talk about a Game 6 in Detroit as the Pistons beat the Knicks at the Garden last night. Hit the spread. I needed the Pistons to win. Thankfully, they did. We will discuss that. 1-0 Dodgers after a home run from Max Muncy, his first of the year. They have second and third with one out in the bottom of the third as well. The Rockies now have a 2-1 lead over Atlanta after a Brenton Doyle homer off of Chris Sale. So 2-1 Colorado.
I don't
Brenton
even know
Doyle. He's been a pretty good player for them. He's been all right.
Someone named their kid Brenton?
Brenton Doyle. Mookie Betts 2-run single. 3-0 Dodgers. Betts puts one in left.
Whoa.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyzed the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Cosmo was supposed to fight Ciaran Clark, but he had the pull-up injury. You get the call. You get to go in there. What was it like for you when you got that call, jumping in there and be part of this bantamweight tournament on short notice?
Terrifying, man. 2 weeks notice against a stud, but I've been preparing my whole life for it, and I couldn't say no to the opportunity, and saw what happened. I came in there and kind of shocked the world. Not kind of, I did.
Only on SportsGrid.
Malaysia Fawali, who you guys know I am a huge fan, has decided to switch allegiances and stay in league. And now she's going to go play for Kim Mulkey. Her, Flau'jae Johnson in the backcourt. It's going to be interesting to watch. You wonder sometimes with roster construction, maybe too much is not too good.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
You don't think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers could be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Ferrall coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
So I thought, everything went according to plan last night. We hit the Pistons with a 5.5, and they went to the line a lot. And I thought the reason the Knicks lost the game was, for my money, Brunson and Cat didn't do anything. So when those two get shut off, the water gets shut off, they're dead meat. And they blew it at the Garden, and now they got to go to Little Sleezers to play them in Detroit in a Game 6. I think what you're going to get is Saturday at the Garden again, a Game 7.
Well, look, you're right. I mean, if Cat and Brunson are both going to score under 20 points, like they did in this game last night, that you would think that they not only lose the game, that they get blown out. They still only lost by 3, 106-103. They had a chance in this game. Here's the couple final buckets for the Pistons. Is down the stretch, Cunningham and company were able to take over on TNT.
Cunningham drives in for 2. He makes it look so easy. Duran is guarded by Towns. They switch out front. Switch back, Cunningham. Money on a 3.
And that was big time right there. Cunningham.
By 4. High screen Duran. Cunningham. Fake. Inside. Layup is good. Thompson finishes.
I mean, I'm watching the game, losing my mind, and I swear to God, I thought Cunningham, because I'm not over here counting, but it felt like he had 35, 12, and 15. Forget 24, 8, and 8.
Yeah.
Like I felt like when I saw that today, I was like, oh, they screwed that up. He had at least 35. I mean, I was like, this guy scored every time he touched the ball. I mean, every time he touches the ball, he scores. And not only that, he goes to the line like you go to the bathroom. I mean, this guy, literally, he lives at the free throw line. And remember, that coach of theirs cries so much about him not getting calls that now he gets all the calls. I expect more of the same, in this Thursday night, whatever. I'm surprised we didn't hear him crying again after the game last night so we can make sure Thursday he gets back to the line, 90% of the time he touches the ball again. I do not believe that the Pistons won because of calls, but they did go to the line a lot after what happened with Hardaway in Game 4. So they all screamed and cried, and now they got their way. Now can they shut the F up and just play ball for 2 more games? Because I'm willing to see them win in Detroit and have a Game 7. I don't have a problem with that. It's been a really good series. But I'm sick and tired of this guy. I'm sick and tired of him whining and crying and yelling and screaming and swearing, blah, 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 and then getting his way. Like they all succumbed to his pressure. So why doesn't Tibbs do it? He only did it once in the series. Bickerstaff's done it 4 times.
That's precisely what happened. 36 free throws the Pistons shot last night, 12 of them by Cunningham. He was 11 of 12 from the line.
36.
The Knicks shot 27, but remember, a lot of that
36.
was... No, it's not. And a good portion, I think 7 of them were... They went to that hacking Robinson at one point.
Oh, my God.
Kind of
is he
putting him on the line.
At the free throw line. What a bastard that dude is. I mean, he is the worst free throw shooter I've ever seen.
You wanted to... You're right. There wasn't as much talking about the refs from JB Bickerstaff last night after the Pistons won.
Was it a data point that you used to talk to your team going into the game? And why is it that you guys are comfortable playing on the road?
I mean, our guys, as crazy as it sounds, like they feed off of it, right? Like they feed off the energy of the opponent's crowd, talking making noise. Like they embrace the chaos. And they're comfortable there. And not everybody is that way, right? Some people need the support of their home crowd and those types of things, but like our guys embrace the chaos and they're extremely comfortable and can play their best.
Whatever. Listen, all I know is when he wins, he talks about how great they are, and when he loses, he blames it on the refs. He never loses a game. It's always the refs' fault. The Pistons never lose. They just blame the refs. They don't ever lose a game. It's always somebody screwed us. That's why we lost. And then when they win, he talks about how tough they are and resilient. He's not fooling me with his bullshit. Are you kidding me?
No.
We've already seen this guy go through 3 or 4 jobs. He does the same thing everywhere.
Yeah, and Tibbs, I guess, didn't really go back the other direction. He's kind of tired of it. And look, when you get to this point of the series, you're going to be 6 games in now. Everyone's got to be tired about talking about refs. We're talking about refs. Let's go. Let's ball. You know what the Knicks' problem is? And we'll hear Kat talk about it when we come back. They're losing every time the fourth quarter starts. You can't come back every single game and try to come from behind. How about having a lead?
Is so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyzed the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Dart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Second game of doubleheader. We don't know exactly who's going to be in the lineup, and maybe you get an extended game number 1, which means tired bullpens and closers used up, which aren't available for game number 2, and maybe finding some extra shots here. But I do think the pitching matchup more susceptible, Tom, to runs here.
This is part of what we look at. Like I said, I don't expect both teams to win. So we have a pitcher who may not be sustainable at 28.6, but he's playing well right now.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You don't think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers could be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.